Ethiopia is floundering internally and regionally. Continuing international condemnation against the violations of Ethiopia and Eritrea and Tigray. Ethiopia is facing the most difficult challenges since the end of the civil war in 1991, and in the absence of diplomatic solutions to it, it threatens to reopen the bloody confrontations that shake the Horn of Africa. Between the conflict in Tigray, the Oromo demonstrations and the Renaissance dam crisis, the Ethiopian Prime Minister, Abi Ahmed, finds himself in a very sensitive position internally and has many complications externally, and he calls for Addis Ababa decisive decisions before the successes of past years are wasted. Abe's war in Tigray was a mistake from the moment it was declared, but asking for help from the Eritrean forces constitutes a political prejudice against all Ethiopians. Because these forces do not fight on their land and have a long vengeance with the people of the region, they carried out atrocities, according to human rights organizations, much greater than the rest of the factions. Today, Abe appears incapable of returning the Eritrean forces to their country, and he has promised to do so since last March. The Ethiopian Prime Minister is also unable to establish internal reconciliation to solve the crisis. Indeed, as if he is more like some Arab leaders now and in the past, he is pursuing a policy of brutality and defiance by completing military operations and holding elections on June 21 that will increase the division and fragmentation between ethnic groups in Ethiopia. The outbreak of the Oromo demonstrations in the region bordering Tigray does not suggest close solutions and reflects Abe's short-sightedness in his belief that there are military solutions to crises that are deeply political and ethnic in the country. The same challenge approach is practiced by Abe with Egypt and Sudan in the Renaissance dam crisis, which Ethiopia is preparing to fill again, and which may fuel a larger conflict with the neighborhood. There is no argument that the dam is on Ethiopian lands. Rather, caring for the interests of neighborhood, regional peace and historical agreements is more important than using the dam issue to mobilize electoral support. Abe, who won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2019, has fueled conflicts that he has been unable to extinguish since. The accumulation of Abe's crises and his intransigence began to harm Ethiopia internationally, between sanctions imposed by Washington related to Tigray and European-American coordination to reduce the humanitarian crisis there. As for his problems with both Sudan and Egypt, they had a backlash by bringing them closer to Washington, after two calls from President Joe Biden to his Egyptian counterpart Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, and a significant improvement in Washington's relationship with Khartoum. Abi Ahmed faces the biggest crisis in his rule today and stands at a critical juncture between going with diplomatic options that save Ethiopia or continuing with the current approach, and igniting ethnic and regional crises that may return Addis Ababa to the stage of civil war.